you wondering if homeschooling is right for you and your family? So what I'm going to share with you is just 4 fundamental questions you want to ask yourself before you come to a conclusion whether you want to continue or if you want to start homeschooling your child or your children. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. My name is Miss Rena. I am a Montessori teacher. I'm here to help you grow in your homeschool and parenting journey, and welcome to my channel, A Little Room to Grow. And if you end up finding some value in this video as you're watching, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share your comments, questions. I'll be happy to connect with you. And hit that subscribe button if you want to get more videos like this and more insight like this on a weekly. All right, so let's get into the 4 fundamental questions you want to ask yourself before you commit to homeschooling. The first is going to be a very obvious one. Does homeschooling call to me? The reason why I would like for you to ask yourself this question is because when you're homeschooling, you are, no matter what, committing to being your child's teacher. Yes, you are their parent, but at the same time, you are committing to taking on the role as a teacher, right? And so you want to really put yourself in that mindset. Do I want to be a teacher? Because you can't homeschool without not being your child's teacher, right? We have all learned this through the pandemic, right? Being at home with your child, no matter what, they need your assistance, right? They need your patience, they need your guidance, they need so much out of you. And all of those things come in into the role of being a teacher. And so if you feel like, yes, that is definitely something that I would be interested in or that I'm called to do, I'm already kind of doing that, and it would be good to kind of have some structure or whatever, then homeschooling is something that you should look more into and try to see if it can work for you and your family. Now, if you're like, well, I'm just not sure, I think that I would like it, but I'm not quite sure if this would be the thing for me. Here's a little tip. You can actually try out homeschooling for let's say 2 weeks. Give yourself like a full 2 weeks where you can commit to, making a schedule that you're going to stick to, morning and midday, right? Maybe you can practice doing like a half day schedule or routine and have a few activities lined up for your child throughout the week and, follow kind of like a school schedule and see if that actually feels right for you. Did you, if you enjoyed it, was it, like stressful, but in a good way or bad way or whatever, kind of like just, give yourself some time to, analyze how that trial period went for you before you actually commit to a whole school year. And you can do this, let's say during the spring break, during the winter break, during the summer as well. And so that way you can really come to a conclusion whether you liked it, doing it or not. Now, again, many of us have already went through the homeschooling experience and we don't need to try a trial period. But if you, for whatever reason, again, are new to this whole homeschool experience, that is definitely a suggestion that you might want to try and see if it works for you or not. Question number 2 is, do you have the time to be your child's teacher at home? Now, this is a really important question because you want to make sure that you're going to be available for your child. I can't stress enough that your child needs you more than just going through a few problems that they get stuck on or introducing a material to them. They really need you to to be there for them throughout the journey. And of course, there's going to be times that they're going to work independently, and that's going to be your time to kind of catch up on things. But overall, if you are going to, follow a specific curriculum that is going to require your child to have certain timelines for assignments or to be, online doing specific things with certain teachers or, basically a set schedule that you don't necessarily have control over, then that's a different role that you're going to be taking on. That's kind of more like, managing your child's homeschool day. So if you have like a full-time job, that in your home trying to attend to your full-time job, plus trying to balance out your child doing homeschool, then that is something definitely that you should consider seeing if you can get some additional help. Maybe you can sort of manage the homeschool setting, right? But you have someone that is there and available for your child if they need your help. And if you are going to be taking on the role of fully being your child's teacher, following a curriculum and you are going to be taking on the role of presenting the materials and gathering the materials and, you know, all of that, grading the materials, then that is something that you really want to make sure that you have time for. So either way, you have to kind of see how much time you have to work with, what you can commit to, and which route you're going to take. Let's say if your child is going to continue with a public school online, then it will be easier for you to help manage your child's homeschool experience while you have your job that you are also attending to. But again, if you are trying to be your child's full-blown teacher at home, you know, you're the one that's preparing the assignments and you're the one, again, that's going to be grading them, then that is something that you're definitely going to need to be available for full time. So, you know, ask yourself how much you can handle, what you can manage, and what can kind of fit into the time that you have to work with so you can realistically, you know, run a successful homeschool experience for both you and your child. Question number 3 is, what are my child's specific needs and how will I meet them? So for instance, you have a 5-year-old at home who is, you know, going to be doing homeschooling with you, but also is in need of like speech therapy. Well, how are you going to manage this speech therapy throughout these homeschool curriculum? You know, are you going to incorporate some of those activities throughout the homeschool experience? Are you going to, you know, do these therapies online? You know, how are you going to manage that? Let's say if you have children who are multiple age, you have a 6-year-old and then you have a 2-year-old at home. Your 6-year-old has certain needs, and then you have a 2-year-old who's also trying to toilet train, right? So your 2-year-old needs your attention because that is actually a need that's very important. You have a certain window to kind of catch your child during that toilet training stage, but you also need to be available for your 6-year-old who's doing homeschooling. So how are you going to manage both of these needs without being stressed out or blaming your child or being upset all the time because you're like running back and forth, right? So it's good for you to kind of sit back and see, all right, these are some things that my child is going through at the moment, and this is how I'm going to make time to help meet these needs. So again, I can give my child the most richest experience through this homeschool journey that we're going to be doing. Now, for every parent, this question is going to mean different things, and of course, because every child is different. But the point is that you want to make sure that you are acknowledging where your child is and how you're going to help them through you know, whatever kind of challenges or hurdles or, you know, milestones that they're going to be hitting while you are doing the homeschooling experience. Because, you know, these are things that teachers also have to be available for children as well, right? When children are at school, teachers are not just there to teach them how to read and write. They are there to ensure that the child is, you know, going through a healthy social development. They are there to observe whether the child is having challenges or not, and how they can help meet these needs. And so there's so much that goes into it. So again, you want to make sure that you are going to be kind of open and observant and acknowledge whatever situation you have going on in your household, and to make sure that all those needs are being met. So that way the homeschool experience could feel kind of like a breeze, right? It can be as less stressful as possible. All right, so my last fundamental question I got for you is, are you willing to dedicate a homeschool space in your home? Now, this is a fundamental question. It's a very obvious one. Yes, I know. But if, you know, the homeschool experience that we all went through in 2020, if that has taught us, you know, if it hasn't taught us anything, it has definitely taught us that having a homeschool space is like the number one thing that children need, and that parents also need in order to run a successful school day, a successful school year, right? Because it is so difficult to try to homeschool your child when they are in their pajamas, when they're in their bed, you know, doing an assignment, when they're on their couch, when there's TV going on, right? You really need a space where you can actually dedicate so your child can go there and focus, get their things done. All the materials are there and available for them. Everything that they need is right there. and that they are able to sit and concentrate. It is separate from everything else that's happening in the house. That helps your child, get things done, and it helps you feel more motivated. It also helps your child feel more motivated too. So trying to work homeschooling around your whole living space, that is not going to work. That's going to make for a very stressful homeschool day. And so if you can at least dedicate a little tiny work area, again, for your child or children, then you're already on the right track for creating a foundation for a successful school year. All right, so you want to look at your child's homeschool space as exactly that, home school space, right? It's at home, but it's also school. So you definitely need to have some school environment feel in the home in order for it to really work. Now, if you are looking for some guidance on how to create a homeschool space for your child, and what are like these, other things that I need to know before setting up and starting, check out this e-course that I have created called How to Organize a Homeschool Space. And in this e-course, you're going to learn things like how to set up a simplified space so that your child can have an easy workflow, so that your child is able to gain independence as well. And also some essential things that you should know when getting into homeschooling before you start. So these are all basically my teacher tips that I have bottled up in a little course, and so check it out. The link is in the description. And if you have any other questions, be sure to drop them down in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them. All right, well, thanks for tuning in. I hope this video was insightful. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you did find some value in it, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.